Then Noëmon, son of Phromius, answered him, saying, I gave it him myself of free will. What can any man do when such an one, so bestead with care, begs a favor? It were hard to deny the gift. The youths who were next to us are noblest in the land. Even these have gone with him. And I marked their leader on board ship, Mentor, or a god who in all things resembled Mentor. But one matter I marvel at. I saw the goodly Mentor here yesterday toward dawn, though already he had embarked for Pylos. He spake, and withal departed to his father's house. And the proud spirits of these twain were angered, and made the wooers sit down together and cease from their games. And among them spake Antinous, son of Eupeithes, in displeasure. And his black heart was wholly filled with rage, and his eyes were like flaming fire. Out on him! A good deed hath Telemachus accomplished with high hand, even this journey, and we thought that he would never bring it to pass. This lad hath clean gone without more ado, in spite of us all. His ship he hath let haul to sea, and chosen the noblest in the township. He will begin to be our bane even more than heretofore. But may Zeus destroy his might, not ours, ere he reach the measure of manhood. But come, give me a swift ship and 20 men, that I may lay in watch and wait even for him on his way home, in the strait between Ithaca and the rugged Samos, so that he may have a woeful end of his cruising in quest of his father. So spake he, and they all assented thereto, and bade them to the work. And thereupon they arose and went to the house of Odysseus. Well, there it is. Antinous going to lie in wait for Telemachus to come home and then ambush him. Here's a question, though, that I'm having a hard time grappling with. I mean, I like to think that even the villainous characters in the best of stories have gradients to them. But are we to take that Antinous is so careless, so reckless, so narcissistic, with so much hubris that he doesn't believe the gods will ever smite him? Because there are two things in today's passage that really made me cock an eyebrow, where I'm like, well, you can see what they do. I mean, we talked about Aias a couple passages ago, about Poseidon rising his trident and just splitting the rock in half, bringing him down under the sea with it when he was angered. So God's wrath is a thing in this world. How does one become so flippant with lines like, but may Zeus destroy his might, not ours, ere he reach the measure of manhood? Like, where do you get off, Antinous? Everything you're doing in the house of Odysseus, which you know is wrong, even if you are trying to pawn it off on Penelope, Odysseus is favored by the gods. And the other moment today being when Noëmon says that, and I marked their leader on board ship, Mentor, or a god in all things resembled Mentor, ... I saw the goodly Mentor here yesterday toward dawn, though he had already embarked for Pylos. So Noëmon saying that they know more than likely Telemachus has the god's favor on this trip. Now, they don't know it's Athena necessarily, but even if there's a hint that the gods might be accompanying Telemachus on his trip, what do you think you're going to accomplish by lying in wait for an ambush? Like, not only are you going to try to take down Telemachus, but Athena, or whatever god you don't know in disguise, is going to be on that ship or on that trip. You're going to immediately invoke the wrath of someone, not just because you are harming someone who is in their favor, but harming them directly, or attempting to, at least. Not that they could. But, I mean, like, what's the logic Antinous has with this? Maybe that's the point. He's not using logic. He's not rational. I don't know. It just seems like an odd choice. Maybe it's intentional to have kind of a white hat, black hat sort of good guy, bad guy with this. We need a definitive, clear villain, and Antinous and Eurymachus are fulfilling that role. All of the wooers are fulfilling that role. Now, I've watched a ton of slasher films. I'm a big horror nut, And anytime you get a monster on the loose, I guess it doesn't have to be slasher films, but particularly, I guess this is a modern way of looking at it, but I think it is touching on an old archetype, which is when you have a monster on the loose who is gonna wreak havoc and you're gonna watch their wrath, you're gonna have characters that are set up to die. Like, I don't know how else to phrase it. I don't mean to be so crass, but like, particularly think of the latter day slasher films. I'm not talking about the classic cycle in the 1980s. I'm talking like late 90s, early 2000s, where characters are like the teenage characters are deplorable. They're assholes to each other. They do awful things. They treat each other so terribly. They are designed to aggravate you, to annoy you, to make you want to see them get the comeuppance in the end. If you were to give them more humanity, then you would be more conflicted about watching what is inevitably going to happen to them. So there's an intentional flattening of the character in order to satisfy the genre or the expectations of the story that you're in. If we are in a heroic poem here, I don't know the conventions, the expectations of these epic poems that much. Perhaps it's a similar thing where there needs to be a very clear, flat character that is just serving a function so that you can deliver a sort of moral conclusion to your hero's story without complications. So, like, of course, Antinous and Eurymachus are going to face the wrath of gods because they are treating the situation so glibly. But let's see what they have in store as we move on to tomorrow's episode. We don't stop here. Can't stop, won't stop. Join me here tomorrow. Until then, okay, goodbye. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.